Going like cinema, doing cinema. Hello, doing cinema. We are live.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining the session this morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, or you may be joining from. And if you would be watching it later by the replay, welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to see the comment section on YouTube. I want to see the people who have joined the call already. Just a minute. So thank you very much. Yes, so I'm trying to see if the other people were on the call already, just so that I see what the call. Okay, hi everybody, welcome. Yes, I can see a couple of us joined the call already. It's nice to see you all on the call. Welcome once again. I see Teresia Korea here. Teresia, are you from Kenya? That sounds so much. That sounds like a Kenya name. Hi, hello Chiamaka, welcome. It's nice to see you. Trying to look more. Please let us know where you are from. Okay, nice to see you. Okay. While we just give it like a few more minutes. Hello, Alexandra. Hi, Salem. It's nice to meet you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just really checking again so that we give it a bit more time for people to join. Hello, Kimberly. It's nice to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you today. Well done. Checking to see if there are other people that are missing out so that and immediately it says 12:10. I will be moving straight into our call for today so that we can, of course, give us our time back. Anne is from Cameroon. It's nice to meet you, Anne. Hello, Math. Math. Okay, I say Math Arc Academy. Welcome. I, Chiamaka from Nigeria. Welcome. Hello, Iola Ogundiba. It's nice to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I, Bimlak Solomon. It's nice to meet you from Ethiopia. It's nice to meet you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Trying to see if there are more people, just so that we're not missing out on anybody. Yeah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And once it is 12:10, we will go right into our conversation for today so that you can have as much time to ask the questions that you want to ask. We know we've been getting a lot of emails, DMs, a lot of messages from you, even in the community. And so today we're setting out the time to just listen to you, get your questions and answer each and every question so that you have better clarity as you continue on the journey for the Leadership Accelerator program. So still looking into, and once it's a top 10, that is in the next 1 minute, we'll move right into our conversation for today. All right, welcome, welcome. It's nice to meet a lot of you. And I'm hopefully looking forward to seeing all the people I see on this call this today at the boot camp. Okay. All right, it is exactly 12:10 by my time here. Once again, my name is Aderi Sola Mobi Daniel, and I'm the gender advisor and program coordinator of the Leadership Accelerator program at Leap Africa here. And today we're reaching out, we're having this conversation, this live session, just to clarify some of the questions that you've asked us. And, we noted that the last time, a lot of you have had a lot of questions that we are trying as much as possible to share in the frequently asked questions, the FAQs. And we've also answered some of your questions via the LMS community and some questions and some troubleshooting challenges that we have been able to work on in the past couple of weeks that you have been on the program. However, we saw the need to further speak to you on the call today, just to further clarify some of the questions that you've asked us, and also further speak to the next steps of the Leadership Accelerator program, as this current step is about rounding off. So without further ado, I will just share my screen again just to talk to you about what we already have spoken of, which is the Leadership Accelerator program for young African women. And so I will just share my screen now so that you can see the presentation slide. If at any point you can't hear me, kindly let us know. We're also in the chat box. Yeah, I see. Bonjour, bonjour, Elima. I Shirley, hello, Osarere, Osasere. So sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right, but hello, it's nice to see you. Welcome. So, going straight into the Leadership Accelerator program for young African women. So, um, once again, you are on the program called the Leadership Accelerator program for young African women. And what we are currently doing is called is a capacity building. Please confirm you can still see my screen. I feel like I'm sharing just myself. Can you still see my screen, please? Okay.
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you. So the Leadership Accelerator program is a capacity building initiative designed to address the gender disparity in women's leadership on the African continent. It's tailored for high potential young African women like you in corporate settings. So the program aims to equip you with the necessary skills and knowledge to ascend to leadership positions. And the program is in 4 progressive phases, which means that when you can't jump to phase 3 without phase 1, or you can't jump to phase 2 without phase 1, or you can't jump to phase 4 without phase 3. So it is in step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4. Now, the first phase is a free online course that you are currently doing, where you are on a 10 short-paced modules. What we're speaking to you about mapping career. So I'm going to be checking the comment section for you to speak about what are the sessions that you have been enjoying the most in this course that you've been doing. Was it of mapping a career? And what stood out for you in some of those sessions? Was it self-leadership and ethics? So I'm looking through the comments. I can see Laura Vita from Mozambique. It's nice to meet you, Laura Vita. I can also see Irene from Ghana. It's nice to meet you. So please tell me in your comment section. I'm looking at the chat box now. What were the courses that stood out for you? Was it developing executive presence? Was it becoming a prosperous corporate African woman? Was it, a session on transformative leadership? I saw a post by somebody today who said that was the most amazing session for her. So I'm looking through to see what sessions stood out for you and, and why. All right. Okay, I see Oluwani Femi. Okay. All right. So while you are still typing that in the comment section, I'll just quickly move on to, the courses in the progressive phases that we've talked about. So, and you have 3 weeks to complete. You started the course in the third week in June, and by this week, the course should have, you should have closed out all your courses by Friday. You should have been done with your courses or max by Sunday. And so those are like what you have done in the current online course that I'd mentioned earlier. So which is the career mapping and all this, that's what you're currently doing. And at the end of the course, if you can finish within these 3 weeks, which is by this Friday or Sunday, you then move into what we call the final assessment test, where we are testing all the things that you have learned on the online course. You have about 100 questions, and you have to score at least 70% and above to be able to move into the next phase. The good news is you have 2 trials for your final assessments. So if you try at first and maybe you scored like a 40 or a 50, you have another attempt to try. And if you can score like a 70 and above, you automatically qualify for your certificates. And of course, the boot camp. We have talked about the certificate being $30, $20, and 30,000 naira for people who are paying in naira. If you're paying in dollars, it's $30. And my colleague who will be dealing with that would share with you on that once I'm done with this presentation. The next phase for you to then go is the paid 1 week boot camp. The boot camp is a physical event that spans over just 1 week, where participants who have scaled the online course will then move into the physical boot camp. We're targeting a cohort of 30 to 40 young African women. And so, which means that we are very thorough in our screening, and we want to ensure that we have all the women that we have. Maybe this year we're even thinking of going to scale into 50 African women, but we're saying this because we want to show you that this is not just another program that you do when you're laid back. This is a program that you want to pay full attention to. This is a program that you want to impact as much to yourself as possible from what you are learning. And you can only do that by putting in practice what you've been learning in your online course. And of course, the bootcamp and the other phases of the course. So at the boot camp, we have really amazing times. We have times where we talk. There are workshops where you are learning different things from different high-profile individuals who have been through some of the challenges that you have faced and can speak to you about them. And you also have the real life questions that you can ask them. So I see that some people have come to the um, community to say, I want to ask my the facilitator of this course a particular question. If you can't do that on the online, the physical bootcamp grants you the opportunity to do that. It also grants you the opportunity to network with like-minded women who are your peers. One of the things that the physical bootcamp also does is that you also have real issues. There are case studies from Harvard Business School, from Lagos Business School, where you are working with your peers to dissect, look for solutions, and ask questions. Also, of course, we have the safe space where beyond what we are learning as the very high technical skills, there is a point where we're all on board onboarding without cameras or anything, and we're speaking about the real life challenges that we face as women in the corporate or in the entrepreneurial space, or even as leaders, and we work towards them together. The other thing that we also do, of course, we have fun times. So don't get scared. There are fun times at the boot camp. The fun times that happens at the boot camp is also where we're going for a movie, having a dinner time, just even going out and just spending some time together as young African women who are thriving. Now, once you're done with the physical boot camp, we then move into what we call the capstone projects. The capstone projects are saying, these are the issues that I have identified in my community, in my organization, in my society, in my country, or even on the continent that I want to tackle. And so it is your way of giving back to the society. You have within, I think, 1 or 2 months to implement what you want to implement, what you've learned from your online course, your boot camp, and of course, then bring it into the capstone. It could be something as amazing as looking at young girls and probably doing like a program for them, a mentorship program or whatever works for you. It's not cookie cutter to one particular sort of like project. And so at the end of the capstone or during the capstone, we also have the final phase of the Leadership Accelerator program, which is a 3 months intensive mentorship. Now, the mentorship is not just the kind of mentorship where you just say, we're getting you a mentor. We are listening to you. There is a mentorship assessment needs that you feel, and we as organizers of the Leadership Accelerator program, as an organization, we are looking at that mentorship needs assessment that you have filled, and we are looking for a mentor based on the mentor that you have filled, the assessment need that you have filled, and we're getting you this mentor. So this mentorship could be one-on-one. It could also be group mentorship, and it's for 3 months. Now, officially, it's for 3 months. However, you may want to extend that relationship beyond 3 months. We're happy to have mentors and mentees extend the relationship beyond the program, but we kickstart the relationship for you by ensuring that you have at least that 3 months. And in those 3 months, we are checking in with you to know how your conversation has been with your mentor. We're checking in with you to know, what your mentor also feels about their conversations with you. We have also seen that relationships has even thrived beyond mentee mentors in the Leadership Accelerator program. So those are like the 4 phases. I didn't mention earlier, but I think that I mentioned at the onboarding that the boot camp is paid. And let me just mention to you that beyond the boot camp being paid, so don't let that then discourage you. It's what you are paying for is a commitment fee. It's not the full payment for the boot camp. So that commitment fee covers you, because I know that we had a lot of those questions as well. That commitment fee covers your accommodation, your feeding, and some of the writing materials that you would need. Leap Africa would not be bearing the cost of your transportation from any country into Nigeria for the cost for the boot camp. The boot camp is going to be happening this year in Lagos, Nigeria. So I think that that's it. But I know that you have a lot of questions, and that's why we're setting up the segments for today. So I will just pause here. I'll look at the YouTube to see. Okay, now I'm seeing my engagements in on your questions. I see somebody saying that I appreciate the transformative leadership, developing executive presence and self-leadership. Yeah, well done, Anne. I'm so glad that you do. I also see gaining visibility in the workplace, because it elaborates about visibility and publicity in a detailed manner. I'm glad that you love that. I see Teresia also say, I like the gaining visibility. I see ethics and social values. Amazing. I've learned a lot about integrity, and I was the most interactive, and it was the most interactive is what I see now. I like problem solving. Amazing. Okay. Elima is saying that I honestly enjoyed all. However, essential and transformative leadership. This is really amazing. I'm loving this feedback. Thank you so much. Thank you. Right about now, I would move on to my colleague who will come and speak to you about the test assessment. Now, a quick one for everyone here. If you know you are done with all your modules, I want to say it in the comment section, because we have good news for those who are done with their the modules. By next week, you are moving into the test assessments, which brings you into the boot camp. So I'm looking into the comment section, and while I'm looking into that, I will yield it over to Larry Omosele, who is my colleague on the call, to speak to you about your test assessments, what to expect, and how you'll be going about it. Hello, Larry. Over to you, please.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon to you wherever you are. So, like Amado Inshallah earlier mentioned, so I work with the IT support, so I'll be, administering your assessment at the back end. So what that means, I'm just going to like give you a quick run through of how the onboarding session is going to be like. Please confirm you can hear me. If you can. Okay, yeah, I think.
Yes, we can, Larry.
All right, so how it's going to work is we are going to get a database of all the users that have completed their online assessment, their online learnings, that's on the elements from the team. So after we've gotten that details, those databases, then we're going to have an onboarding. So we're going to add them to the back end of our assessment portal. So what this means is that if your name is on that database, you are automatically going to get an email from Leap Africa saying that you've been added to the assessment portal. Then you'll be asked to change your password. After changing your password, then you can now log in to access the assessment. So, however, so there are some restrictions in place, which means that so you can only access an assessment that is designed for you. So if you're choosing another assessment that is not for you, you'll not be able to access it. And if you're sharing your link with some other persons, it is not going to work. So because the link and the access are just unique to one person. So once you're done, once you've been able to access the assessment on the portal, after you've taken your assessment, like I think Ismail has mentioned already, it takes 70% pass grade before you can get the certificate. So, and even when it's time to get the certificate, you have to make a commitment, a payment of $20, which is equivalent to like 30,000 naira before you can get the certificate. The moment you make the payment, the certificate automatically will be sent to your email. So at the end of the assessment, a pop-up is going to come up to say input your name. So the name you input in that field is what is going to appear in your certificate. So what I'm saying now is this: when the feed pops up, I want you all to input the name as you want it to be on your certificate. Then you input the email address. The email address you entered is what the certificate will be sent to. So immediately after you've done with that, you click enter or send, you're going to get a certificate delivered to your email. So this is typically how the online assessment portal is going to work, and from the onboarding to how you take your assessment and to when you get your certificates. So yeah, that will be all from my end. If there are any questions, I would like to have them now. Okay, yes, I see there's a question here. I think so like you might want to address this.
Yes, thank you very much, Larry. Thank you so much for, for just sharing that. So just to reemphasize what Larry has said, you will only get the link for the final assessment if you are finished your course. So I'm going to address some of the questions I've started to see. And just please keep your questions coming. We are in the comment section to respond to all of your questions. So now somebody's saying, if I'm unable to attend the bootcamp due to financial incapacity, will I be given certificates for the free 3 weeks? Yes, you'll be given certificate, but the certificate comes at the fee of $20 or 30,000 naira equivalent. So you will be given that certificate, but you have to pay for certificate at least. So you're only paying for the certificate, you're not paying for the courses. And so it's optional if you don't want certificates. Somebody saying if I should finish my course within 3 weeks and I couldn't pay for my certificate this month, can I pay next month? Yes, you can pay for it next month. You can come back for it next month and pay for it. And of course, get your certificates. Somebody says, what about those that can't attend the boot camp due to work or location? We absolutely understand that. And at the moment, we're only able to host the physical boot camp physically in Lagos, Nigeria. So please keep your questions coming. I'm on the lookout in the comments to, yes, Jakube, you can pay for your certificates at any time. When will the bootcamp? The bootcamp will be taking place in Lagos on the 8th of September to the 12th of September. So Okay, I see another question that just give me a second so that I can get the question. Somebody then is asking again that how much is the boot camp and when is it scheduled to happen? This boot camp is, I mentioned it earlier, but I guess you didn't get that. The boot camp is 500,000 naira and $350 equivalent, $350 equivalent and 500,000 naira. And it's going to be it's scheduled for September 8th to September 12th of this year. Is there a grant for the project? There is no grants for the project. So that's why we usually tell our participants to ensure that this is a budget that do not necessarily that they do not necessarily need to pay a grant for. Somebody then is asking, do you assist with the visa application process for those outside Nigeria? Yes, we do. So what we essentially do is that we provide you with the visa application that you would need, the letter, that's the letter of introduction, and some other documents that you would need. So immediately you want to start applying for your visa and you've gotten some of the requirements, kindly send us an email detailing the requirements that you will need, and we would provide those documents for you. If I finish my course within 3 weeks and pass the assessment, do I qualify for? No, Chineye, you only qualify for the 3 months mentorship after you are done with the 3 phases of the Leadership Accelerator program. So you are done with the online course. After the online course, you are then done um with the fiscal boot camp. After the fiscal boot camp, your capstone in progress, then you have a 3 months mentorship. Somebody then asks a question, what does $350 covers? It covers your accommodation, it covers your feeding, it covers the training materials that you will need at the Leadership Accelerator program. So it's essentially just even a commitment fee, because that is not truly what that $350 can cover. I'm listening to other of your questions that you may have. Do you have other questions? I'm trying to look at it. And while I'm looking at other questions, I will reach out to my colleague Adefunke Adeyeye, who is a male, the monitoring, evaluation, research and learning team, to speak to you about the surveys that you have been filling and the survey that you will fill going forward. Thank you. Hello, Abiso Adefunke, rather.
Hi, Habib. Please confirm you can hear me and that you can see me. All
Yes, we
right.
can.
Okay, thank you. So good morning, good afternoon, good joining. Like Aderizola mentioned, my name is Adefunke and I work in the Monitoring, Evaluation, Research and Learning Unit at LEAP Africa, and I've been supporting the Leadership Accelerator program for young African women. So I just want to basically talk about the surveys that have been coming out and the subsequent ones to come during this program. So I don't know, are there people who took the baseline survey that was shared initially before the commencement of the online courses? Maybe I would like to see that in the comment section to know if there are people who took the survey there. All right. So while I'm waiting for that, so this is just me basically talking about the survey and why it is important. So this program was effort put together by Leap Africa, particularly the Leap Leadership Institute. And we don't just sit and think whatever we planned on programs is enough. We want to get feedback from the people who are taking the program itself, because they had the one having a first-hand experience with the program. And this is why we roll out surveys to understand how the program is going, to also understand if there need to change or improve some parts of the program. And mostly the surveys shouldn't take too much time to fill. So this is me just imploring us that at the end of this course, during the assessment, another survey will be coming, like a post training survey will be coming up. So this will help us know what component, just like you all have been mentioning, the components of the online courses that you find interesting. So the survey would even help us get more insight to that. Why do you think you find this one more beneficial than the other? And what improvement you want us to make to some of the courses? So these are some few questions that what you will be seeing in the survey, and it really helps us to improve our program. Survey has been the one shaping our real program improvement. I remember that when Aderisola was speaking, she spoke to the entrepreneurial part of the course that is coming up this time around. So this wasn't a component in the course before. It was part of feedbacks from survey that, help us understand why that is important, because past participants were demanding for it. Another feedback I remember from past surveys was even the tailored mentoring part of the program, because, rather than just pairing people with mentors who are not in their field, it was feedback from past surveys that help us inform that decision. So these are basically why we like to roll out survey, and I'm imploring everyone to just fill the survey. And the survey is an online survey, so you get the link after the assessment as well. It shouldn't take much time to fill, maybe 5-7 minutes maximum. So I'll just implore everyone to take that when it comes up. Your feedback helps us a lot to improve our program design and offerings generally. Thank you so much. So I'll hand over to Aderisola now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Adefunke. Thank you for that explanation. A lot of people were responding to you on our YouTube, and they were saying that, yes, they had filled the survey, and I'm glad that you were explaining this way, so it makes it easy for them to understand the subsequent surveys that they'll be having. So I see that I saw that while you were speaking, there were more questions from people, and I would just like to quickly take that. Somebody is saying that that means that the 3 months mentorship can be done if I didn't partake in the bootcamp and capstone projects. Yes, it can be done if you did not partake in the bootcamp and capstone project implementation. Somebody said my case is slightly different. I've been unable to log into the LMS. We're going to come back to that. Somebody then says that for those outside Nigeria, does the program cover the flights? I believe this is flights from home country in Nigeria, Lagos. No, it doesn't. It doesn't cover the flights from your own country to Nigeria. That's not what the flight does. Rather, that's not what the money does. Rather, what it does is just it speaks to your participation in the program, your accommodation and your feeding, not your flights at all. So, so the person who had asked the question on, so I'm trying to look for the name again, just so that. Okay, yes, for Samira Galadima, who has said that she's been unable to log into the LMS. We've gotten that complaint. And so what we would do is after this call or before the end of the day, we will share with you an email, or maybe by tomorrow, though, we'll share you an email with a new login detail. I'm sorry, with a new login link for only those who have been unable to log in. Please, if you have been able to log in, do not click on that link. If you do that, it automatically disqualifies you for the next phase of the program, because it means that your data is completely off. So we need you to completely log into it if you have been having login issues like Galadima Samira had mentioned. So the new link that we're going to be sharing now is for those who have issues and they are unable to log in into it. So I'm looking more to see if there are any questions that I'm not yet covering. And maybe while I'm speaking to that, I don't know if provide transportation for persons coming into Nigeria. The program is not, we do not have a sponsor on this program. This is a Leap Africa program, and it is heavily subsidized already. So you can imagine how much we're also paying to ensure that we are covering your accommodation, feeding for the whole of 1 week. So just even imagine that. I see that you said, okay, thanks. Thank you for understanding. I'm going through again just to be sure that we didn't miss out on any question. And if we not miss out on any question, I'm happy to give us our time back. Okay, okay. Akumu says that I joined a bit late. I would like to inquire whether there is assistance with visa application process for those outside Nigeria. Yes, there is assistance for those outside of Nigeria. So if you're outside Nigeria, of course, there is assistance for you. There is assistance for your visa application. So which means that, and the assistance, please, is not monetary assistance. It is assistance in the documents that you may need from us. So a letter of introduction to the embassy, we can share that with you. If you want to also get a letter to your, if you want to get a letter to your office to say that you'll be attending this, that letter is available as well. If there are other documents that the embassy in whatever country that you are is asking for, we're happy to provide that as well. So, okay, thank you for the feedback, Akomo. I see that you understand that. All right, is there any other question from anybody? So that, we can quickly round off from there. Am I missing any question from anyone on the call? All right, if we don't have any questions, I think that we would call it a day right now, but just to go back again to be sure that we didn't miss any question. So again, just to reiterate, we're going to be sending you an email for those who have been having issues logging in. Kindly click on that link and log in again. And for those who have already logged in and have not completed the courses, kindly complete your courses. So because it got a lot of requests, we are going to do one thing for the last time. We're going to extend the course by 1 week. So which means that instead of us closing the course on you this week and selecting and closing out on people who are coming for the boot camp, we are going to leave it open from now till next week Sunday, and that would be just so that we get the time correct on the calendar. That will be next week Sunday, which will be July 13th. By July 13th, I believe that we've extended it for even more than 1 week already. So we're going to extend the online course for 1 more week from now to July 13th. After the July 13th, we will not be taking requests to say, oh, I had login issues, because by then or even before then, the issues are already sorted. However, for those who have completed the course right now, by next week, you will have access. From next week, Monday, you will have access for the assessment, for the final assessment that brings you into the bootcamp. Now, that final assessment, you have the opportunity of taking it twice because you have to score 70 and above, 70% and above. Now, you will have access to that for everybody, whether you got an extension from 1 week or not, as soon as we close out. So that means for those who are just going to be logging in now to do their course, please, all of the courses, everything combined together is just 16 hours. So if you're even serious about it, within a day or two, you should be done. You should be done with the courses. So right now, what we're going to do next is that we're going to ensure that the final assessment is going to be between July 8th to July 20th. So you can't say, oh, I got the assessment link later, and so because of that, you need to extend the assessment. We're not going to do that. We're only going to have the assessment between July 8th to July 20th. So if you're getting your login details, I think you should be getting it today or tomorrow. If you're getting it today or tomorrow, just make sure that you are finishing your course within a day or two. You should be done with your courses, and then move on to your final assessment, because once we can see from the back end that you are done with your course, we'll then send another batch of final assessment links so that you can then have your final final assessment. So somebody says, Alexandra is saying, just clarify for those of us who have completed the course, will we have an email before we proceed? We're able to take the test. Yes, you will have an email to be able to take the test. That email is what is going to move you. You cannot share the link with somebody else. It will automatically disqualify you. So that link, that test assessment email is what you're going to have. And then go ahead to do your final assessment. Then the computer will record towards your highest score from 70 and above, then you get invitation to the bootcamp. Thank you, everybody. I see that there are no more questions. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the call. And please get ready for your final assessment. And so to also the people who I said they were done, I got your names. I saw Chiamaka said she was done. Salem said she was done as well. Salem, I'm so looking forward to seeing you and Chiamaka in Lagos, Nigeria. Yes, Salem is saying, is there provision for airport pickup? Yes, there is provision for airport pickup. We'll be picking you up from the airports for every participant who comes in from different countries, or even in Lagos, Nigeria. I mean, Nigeria, if you're coming from another state, there is airport pickup for you. There's airport pickup. We will pick you up, and also we would also drop you at the airport as well to be able to take your flights. Is there a closing date for the camp payments? Yes, that closing date will be shared with those who get the invitation letter for the bootcamp. But from now, as long as you're done, you can start paying for your bootcamp. We will share that information with you in a different email. That information will be strictly for those who can, who are now qualified for the bootcamp. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, I see Sophia. Sophia said I'm done. Congratulations, Sophia. We can't wait to see you also in Lagos, Nigeria for the bootcamp. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining the call today. We deeply appreciate your presence, and we wish you well. We wish you the very best luck in your test assessment. I know it's something that you can do, and I know that you will make us proud. Thank you so much, and do have an amazing day ahead, or amazing rest of the day, depending on the time that you're joining from or be watching the play. Thank you so much, and goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.